I'm back in the kitchen. This time I want to talk about self-doubt in boxing. Self-doubt is the enemy. Now, we're around about halfway through the season, the amateur boxing season, when young fighters will be thinking towards events like district championships, regional events, national championships, and even international events. And, you know, when they get nearer and nearer the time to go into the ring, self-doubt will begin to occupy their minds. And my message to them is, that's okay. I don't care how good you are. You might be a world champion, you might hold a half a dozen titles at different weights, you might have 3 belts, whatever. You, at some point, will have self-doubt before you go into a contest. It's natural, right? You'll be thinking the negative thoughts. You'll be thinking, will this guy hurt me? Can I be as good as him? Can I beat him? All these things play into the psychology of boxing. But here's the message. You leave those self-doubts in the changing room. And when you're making your way into the ring, you're fully focused on the job in hand. Now, how do you do that? Well, you impose your authority with one key punch, the jab. And it's not a jab which is flaky, which is flicking out. It's a jab which sends a message to your opponent that you're there to do business. You're there to win the contest. And a good, sharp, powerful, ferocious jab, quickly delivered, will send that message to your opponent. Now, what do we see in boxing today? What we see from a lot of amateurs, and I've seen it in changing rooms across the country, here in Scotland, and professionals, even at the highest level, we see an arrogance, which really is unbecoming. For me, humility is key in boxing. Authenticity is another quality that a boxer should have. And certainly the humility part of it is something that tells me a guy is a real champion outside the ring. So when you go into a fight, you go in there to impose your authority on your opponent from an early stage of the contest. You do that with a jab, you do it with a good jab, and then you begin to build on what you've started. But when arrogance creeps in, and we've seen it, for example, at pre-fight press conferences for big title events, we've seen that arrogance come through from some boxers through bullying. What does that tell you? For me, the bullying boxer, the guy who's in the face of his opponent, telling him what he's going to do to him on the night, the bully is the guy who has self-doubt. That's the message I get from that. So, self-doubt is okay. Everybody has it. Leave it in the changing room. If you've got a major event coming up, whether it's a district or a national title fight, then you go into it, you know, eradicating the self-doubt the minute that first bell goes. Better still, leave it in the changing room. Think about it. Boxing is all about using your brain. Can you outwit, can you outbox and outthink your opponent? If you can do that and deliver the punches that's necessary to win that contest, then you've done your job. If you do all that and you still don't win the contest, well, what does it matter? You've gained experience. Okay, you have a little blemish on your record, but if you're in the early stages of your boxing career, amateur or professional, that shouldn't matter all that much because you're still in the learning part of boxing. And here's the big message too. If you do not learn from your mistakes and you take those same mistakes, those errors into the next contest and the one after that, in my view, you shouldn't be in boxing. But let's look on the positive side. You think you're good enough. You believe you're good enough. You know in your heart and your mind that you're good enough to win and to win championships. But you don't have to tell people. Just tell yourself. That's all you need to tell. That's the only person who needs to know what you're thinking. You.